Hello, welcome back. Today I'm going to share with you a flip through of my completed travel journal. So this is a continuous journal that has documented my travels within Australia. So every time I travel, well, not every time, but most of the times when I've been able to travel within Australia, I have added to this one journal. And I recently went away on a holiday to Wilson's prom and have returned, and on the holiday I got to do a lot of journaling. It was a very relaxing holiday and I completed the insert. So that's what I'm going to share with you today. It'll be kind of an in-depth walkthrough, and I'll talk about my setup as well and my process, and maybe what I would do different next time. And in the next video, I'll share with you what I brought with me on the holiday. So I brought my Delphonics pouch, and I brought a couple of other supplies along, and that will be interesting to kind of go through as well, what I used and what I didn't use. So that'll be the next video. So this is my traveler's notebook passport in camel that I have had embellished with my initials, and have a cute little charm and the money clip on there. And this is when I'm not traveling. This is my vintage collage style journal. So I use this to kind of do some small journaling. So the setup isn't all that different. I just take out the insert for the collage and change it for the one that I use for the travel journal. So this clear folder is in there normally. I have a bunch of little memo pads and labels, and this washi tape, which is by Pion, which I sell in my shop, which I'll have linked down below. I brought with me this sticker release paper book, and this has been really fantastic for journaling on the go and travel journaling. Like a whole bunch of stickers are missing from it now, and kind of cut out washi tapes. So these are some of my favorites, things from pen pals, things that I've kind of had from years that I haven't used up yet. Even cute ones like these Sumiko Gurashi, I believe they're called, these little characters. Yeah, so I've kind of collected them all in there, and that was really helpful. This is my travel journal, and I've been using a field notes, and it does fit sort of just in the traveler's notebook. There's a little bit of overhang, but I don't mind that. I really started using this actually before I even got into traveler's notebooks, so I had it already and I definitely wanted to use it. I adore the field notes aesthetic and kind of the presentation of it. It's just fantastic, and even the typography and the wood grain cover, it's gorgeous. But one issue with this is that the paper quality isn't the best. So mild liners bleed through, watercolor bleeds through. It kind of really limits what you can do in it, and it's not fountain pen friendly, and I've really gotten into my fountain pens. So as much as I've loved this, I won't be using field notes for my next travel journal, which is kind of an interesting thing. So in the back here, I have a bunch of Classiky labels and tags. And in this little folder, some cut out PET tapes and stickers and labels, a lot of stuff by Pion, and a few of those donut and circle stickers by Chop Around, and these are all available again in my shop. So that's been really fun, being able to kind of use the stationery that I've recently brought in. And in the back, I brought with me a couple of washi samples that I made. So here are some Classiky ones that again are ones I sell, and then a Liang Feng one that's from my own collection that just went with it really nicely. And I did the same thing here. So I had the ones from Classiky, and then a Yahaku one. That was one that I do use a lot from my personal collection. So that was sort of the setup. Let's talk about the journal. So this has been a kind of fun thing where I've had recorded kind of some of the different places, but I went to more than them. So yeah, I started it on the 28th of the 1st, 2019 and ended it on the 5th of December back home. So the first kind of trip that I took with this journal was to South Australia. And this was a really fun one. It was a very relaxing holiday. I got the chance to draw a lot. I tend to draw mostly with fine liners. I got to use some of, my favorite La Dolce Vita stickers and washi tapes that were from pen pals as well. So I did take a lot with me. I would do things like I would save the labels. And I really enjoyed sketching animals. So sketching animals has kind of been a thing that I like to do. I really don't get to do enough of it, and I enjoy colouring as well. So I kind of coloured in this fairy wren blue. Kind of different, amazing seaweed and shells that were found on the beach. I really love that page. There was a winery that we visited and a camel farm nearby. So it's just really cool seeing these camels pretty close. And this was just a lovely view of the sunset from the balcony of where we were staying. And I just love how this page turned out. It was really, really relaxing. Just letting myself be free with coloured pencils. The coloured pencils I like to use are the Holbein ones from Japan. I have a set of them. Saving some maps as well. So then I kind of didn't travel journal for a long time with everything that happened. But in 2021, I did get the chance. Our family went camping to, so it was just us. We weren't interacting with anyone, and that was really fun. And then this year I got to go to Bendigo for White Night and meet up with family there. And that was a really, really fun kind of weekend. And I sketched the motel and this beautiful, like kind of derelict mansion in one of the country towns we drove through. And the puppet which was one of the attractions at White Night. So that was really fun. And this is the beginning of the recent trip, which I've just come back from. So Phillip Island and then Wilson's Prom. And this is sort of the halfway point in the journal. Actually, it is the halfway point. And I filled the whole journal with this trip, which was really, really fun. I didn't expect that I would get to do that much journaling, but I knew it would be relaxing and we'd have a great time. I brought along kind of a lot of my favorite stationery, including things from my shop, so you'll see them throughout, but I used like these Classiky tapes. I used these Twilight PET tape flowers by Pion. I use them a lot. The other kind of favorite thing that I used a lot of, and I just kind of kept coming back to it, with the birds from Bird Island and kind of everything that was in the Bird Island tape, including the girls. I kind of was obsessed with those two and used them the most, I reckon. So when we as we were driving to Phillip Island, we drove through Caldermead and had scones and tea at Caldermead Farm. And I loved using the not Twilight, Tea House transfer stickers by Pion. So yeah, I'll link them below as well. They're really, really fun. And the farm had like cows and lots of different animals, and you can kind of walk around and have a look at them. And I was obsessed with the goats, and my family were a bit freaked out by the unusual eyes that they have. So this was a kind of fun chance to just kind of have a little cheeky tip in there with kind of, and appreciating the goats for their unusual character. So when we got to Phillip Island, one of the first things that we kind of did late in the day was go for a walk on this amazing beach, and the watercolors that I tried to use, I don't think they do it justice, and they did bleed through, unfortunately. But this beach is stunning. It's got so many, it's even more vibrant than this actually, and it's got reds and purples and mauve color rocks, and the algae is just amazing. So it was stunning. And that night we lit the wood fire stove in the accommodation. It was really cozy. Had some blue cheese, and yeah, it was really yum. And it's just lovely because I got the chance to use some things that I took with me from pen pals, and some washi card samples that I got to bring with me. So yeah, I get to use a mix of things. The next day we went to Churchill Island. So Churchill Island is connected by a bridge to Phillip Island, which is also connected by a bridge to the mainland. So it's kind of a smaller island. There never used to be a bridge, and you can get there easily now. And it's a historic farm with a lovely manor, like a small kind of house there, and beautiful cottage gardens. They had a gentleman demonstrating blacksmithing there, free-ranging chickens and geese, just gorgeous animals that were really well kept. I did a little bit of colouring, just pops of colour with the mild liners. Thankfully, I did have this scrap paper that I could because this completely bled through. But yeah, I just like kind of giving that little bit of colour there. And then with the chickens, kind of going into a little bit of detail with coloured pencil, and doing a kind of loose sketch of some of the beautiful flowers and the vibrant garden. Also at the farm were these amazing horses, and it's probably because I was wearing a red jacket, but they kept coming up to me, letting me pat them, and this majestic Clydesdale. So I was super in love. I had to include that. We had lunch at the cafe, did a little bit more doodling, and then I got the chance to use this Bird Island girl, which is kind of like my favorite of the little girls in the Bird Island PET Tape. I'm so obsessed with her. I just wanted to use her all the time. So yeah, that page makes me really happy. And also memo sheet from Pen Pal. Thank you, Jennifer. And this is that evening we got to see the penguins. So super, super fun. I sketched one and coloured it in with coloured pencil. At this point I kind of clued in I cannot use the watercolours that well, but pencil does work fine on the field notes. So that's really cute. Used some of the embossing PET tape by Pion and another little bird there. So it was really fun, and I love just using different supplies that kind of match what was happening. Using like the flowers, and then there was this bird in the sky, and the water where the penguins were coming out of. Like I like that it sort of ties it all in, and makes things feel, complete. This was the next day. We went to Forest Caves, which is on Phillip Island, these amazing, amazing rock formations where there's natural caves. And I got the chance to have a sit while my family went exploring. So I have chronic fatigue syndrome, myalgic encephalomyelitis, and I cannot walk terribly far. So I'm grateful for whatever I can do, but getting the chance to just sit down and enjoy the beach and sketch is, certainly no problem at all. And yeah, I just love how this kind of turned out. I did the colouring later, and it sort of shows how sort of dark the caves were. So they were really, really special. It was a very special day. And I used a whole bunch of our studio PET tapes, which sort of represented the kind of different things on the beach and the shells and eggs we were finding, and the beautiful bird song and birds and plants. I kind of like having all that on this page to remember it. That afternoon I got the chance to do some journaling So I actually sketched my journal and my Delphonics pouch while my family kind of went for more walks. And yeah, I love that I got the chance to use one of these soft girls. I kind of had her saved. I had her like tucked into the page, like, and I would keep going, am I going to use her? Am I going to, like, I wanted to use her really badly because it just fits perfectly. I had a green top and I had, you know, my backpack with me. So yeah, I love that kind of got to be popped in there. And then this is kind of hilarious. So in Australia, possums are very timid. They are non-confrontational. If they see you, they will run away. That's what normally happens. And we had lit this fire pit in the backyard of the accommodation, and we were toasting marshmallows. It was very, very wonderful and relaxing. And then out of kind of nowhere in the dark, we hear this thud, very loud thud. And then kind of from the bushes, we see creep out this possum, which was so huge. I think at first we weren't even sure it was a possum. We thought maybe it was like a wallaby or like a kangaroo or something. It was a possum. And in the next moment, it sort of made eye contact with us and it charged. It charged us. Like it full on ran towards us and our marshmallows. And we kind of froze for a moment and then freaked, because we do not get chased by wild animals. We're not used to that at all. And we grabbed the marshmallows, ran inside. My mum was the only brave one. She kind of stood her ground. He didn't follow us in, thankfully. And she sort of fended him off. But she had to kind of like yell really loudly and sort of wave, I don't know what she had in her hand about. And he kind of got the message and sort of slinked off a bit, but he was still lurking. So that was, yeah, a lesson to be learned. Do not leave food unattended on Phillip Island. The possums there they're in the league of their own. They're watching and they're waiting and they're going to steal your marshmallows. Very important lesson there. As we were leaving Phillip Island, we got to see and I keep saying this wrong, it's the knobbies. This outcrop across the sea is the knobbies, and seals are meant to hang about there. We didn't get to see any seals though this time. This is a really cute little Cape Barren goose and her chicks, which we saw on the path. I just had to illustrate her. She is so cute. And then we drove through Inverloch, had some yummy pastries. Thankfully, one of my pen pals have sent me this pastry washi. I don't know where it's from. If you know, please tell me, because I've almost used up the sample from ages ago. And yeah, I love how that fits. And then we got to Wilson's prom, where we met up with family, and we stayed in a cabin, and that night we played Cards Against Humanity. That's my attempt at illustrating that. So obviously you can see I'm definitely not a professional illustrator by any means. I just do these sketches for me. I know that that's a rock. I know that that's a goose. I know that that's a flower. So that's good. You know, that's all I kind of want to achieve with my sketches, and they bring me joy. And that's, yeah, I think, you know, if you like to sketch just for yourself, you know, there's no barrier to doing it, and kind of the more you do it, the more comfortable you get. And thank you to my pen pal Jennifer. She's so kind. She sent me these die cut little I think they're by Matka, the artist, stamped images, and I love them and I couldn't wait to use them. This was perfect for kind of representing the cabin. And she also sent me this wax seal, which was really pretty. There were lots of beautiful flowers, so yeah, I love that. And then this is kind of talking a bit more about the stay in Tuttle River, which is in Wilson's Promontory National Park. So this is kind of a very, very special place in Australia. There's coastal scrub, there's bushland, there's mangrove trees, there's beautiful beaches, pristine nature, mountains, rainforest. It's all in this kind of this park, this massive sort of sectioned off area that you can actually stay in. And what's amazing is it's also very family friendly, very I would say kind of, yeah, I would say disability friendly too, because there was a lot of wheelchair friendly accommodation and paths and things. So they do make an effort actually to accommodate people with mobility needs, which I really appreciated. I didn't actually have, thankfully I'm not using a wheelchair at the moment, but I have in the past, so I do appreciate stuff like that. And I think it's actually incredible that someone could go and see this no matter how, you know, how much activity they're able to do. That's really special to me. Yeah, so if you can ever go and you're not sure if you want to go, but you're thinking about going, I would say if you have the chance to go. Yeah, so I just kind of did a little sort of title page for it, and I really, really love this page. Again, got to use some things from the MYSTIKO House shop, including this memo card, the birds that I am obsessed with, and I keep using them everywhere. And there were so many birds and wildlife there, so it fit perfectly. And this cute Pion girl from, I think it's from the number 16 tape. And then on the first kind of full day there, went for a walk along the river boardwalk and got to kind of see the sights and the mountains in the distance. I sketched some of these cute little flowers that are native there. We had a lot of beautiful parrots and birds, so Rosella, and a wombat that was staying just outside of the accommodation. He was literally, you know, we were on the path and then we noticed a wombat less than 2 meters away from us, which I have never seen a wombat in the wild before, ever. So this was incredible. It was actually amazing how unafraid of us the wildlife were. I have not experienced that anywhere in Australia before. And I've been to some remote places in the past too. So that was very interesting. They were really not fazed by us. Of course, we did not try to touch them or go too close to them into their space or anything like that. But just to realize that less than 2 meters away from you, it's an adorable wombat eating and scratching its back is super cute. Oh, and in the cabins there were bunk beds. And so we all slept in kind of like in one room in bunk beds. And I had this hilariously appropriate sticker, which of all the little characters on top of each other. So I don't know, I just had to use that. I was kind of like, that's perfect. I'm so glad I have that with me. This is a sketch of my dad. We were at the beach at sunset and he was taking photos of the rocks, and I was, yeah. And I don't, so for example, I don't sketch from imagination. I do take photos on my phone and tend to sketch later. Sometimes, like when I showed you the cave, I'll sketch while I'm there, but I tend to, all the animals and everything, I do actually sketch from photos just because I'm too slow to do it in person, and I like to kind of just take my time with it and not be too stressed about it. This is the prom wildlife walk, which is it's just a kind of a turn off, and you can do this walk through bushland and see emus in the wild, kangaroos and joeys. It was really amazing. I know this doesn't really look right. just ignore his face. It's okay. You know, I'm not a pro sketcher, so it's all good. I do really like how the rest have turned out. But yeah, that's kind of funny how that just doesn't look like a kangaroo. But anyway, yeah, and it was again amazing that you could be so close. Not terribly close, not like the wombat actually, but that you could really see them. And I've never been that close to emus in the wild before. But they weren't tamed, like they won't eat from your hand or anything. You're not meant to feed them. They are wild animals. But yeah, it's interesting to see. And I got the chance to use this Yamadora girl who I've used earlier in the journal too. I love this stamp. I'm obsessed with this stamp. And yeah, she came in there. So kind of had to restrain myself from using things like that on every page. just to keep it interesting. So while I was spending time with sort of other family members, some of my family actually went on a 2-day hike, which was amazing. I'm so proud of them for getting to do that. If you are able to hike, Wilson's Prom has incredible hiking to do. It's a very, very special place. So I sketched the hiking pack and the boots, kind of to show that they came back from that. And I got to use this stamp washi tape by Pion from the shop that I really thought fit this have faith and impressive, and how it says hang on to your dreams, and over here it says whatever the mind can achieve, and believe the mind can achieve, which I just thought it was very cute, and I kind of felt like it fit sort of the awesomeness of, I'm really proud because my family do not have hiking experience either. This was their first big hike, so yeah, I thought it was a huge deal. It took a lot of preparation, but they did it. We got to try some of the snacks that they took with them, which was interesting, and then go for a walk on a beach. There's many beaches in Wilson's Prom, and this is one of these special shearwater birds that live in the area, and it flew right overhead, which was such a magical moment. I got the chance to swim. We had a hot day on the weekend, and I managed to go in the water. It was quite busy actually because it was the weekend. And I just like how, and this is a rock formation, I like how this kind of page turned out. We found a nautilus shell, so this washi sort of is very appropriate. I happened to have this beach one, which worked out just right. And my mum lost her glasses on the beach, which is really sad. We could not find them. I think she might have lost them in the water. But I just thought hilariously, I'll just put this guy in there. He could have, I just in my imagination, headcanon, he ate the glasses, and that's why we didn't find them. Which is just random. But anyway, the next day, last day, as we were leaving, we went to this Lily Pilly Gully fern tree walk. So in Wilson's Prom, there are also, if you go a little bit more inland, there's also temperate rainforest as well, with these, you know, beautiful fern trees and a creek, and you know, very like mossy and lots of fungi growing, and yeah, really beautiful to visit on a cool day. It was a bit of a full-on walk, but I'm so glad that I got to see it as well. And then on the drive home, we got to stop by a cidery and have some tastings, which was really interesting because yeah, they brew cider, so that was something else. And we stopped back by Caldermead Farm to have scones and a coffee. And I'm really glad I got to use this, and one of the, I think she's one of the soft girls by Pion. I kind of have her saved as well for a coffee stop. And I do really love this memo sheet that Jennifer gave me, which I got to use as well. So thank you so much, Jennifer. And that's the finished journal. So yeah, really, really happy with that. I love how it turned out. I think I may actually switch it up and move into a regular size next time I go away, but I've got time to decide. It won't be for a while. So thank you for watching, and if you'd like to see in my next video, I'll talk to you about my supplies, what I brought with me, what I used, what I didn't use, and just kind of the general travel journal setup. So thank you very much. See you in the next video. Bye.